Good evening and welcome to the May 10th, 2021 public hearing of the Planning Commission on City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan Amendments. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. To minimize feedback in the audio, all participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should raise their hand or unmute themselves and turn on their camera to indicate they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone is having difficulty or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org, planner@plancom.org. For those of you who are not familiar with our process, the meeting will be conducted as follows. Excuse me. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chairman. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will then ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that, I'd like to ask the clerk to please call roll.
Bernstein?
Here.
Cardenas?
Here.
Dix? Dix? Was that Dix? Dowdy?
Here.
Handy? Andy? Crest?
Here.
Linkus?
Here.
Marino?
Here.
Powell?
Here.
Joseph?
Here.
Dickerson?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you.
Mr.
right.
Chairman?
Yes, who was, oh, Commissioner
Thank you.
Dix.
Hey, I'm sorry. I was confused as whether you said 5:45 or 6. So I'm sorry, but I'm here.
All right. Did you get that, clerk?
I did. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. All righty, now that we're all here. All right, our first action item is 2A, TACPA 2101. It is a text amendment on floor area ratio blending, and the presenter will be Jennifer Malone.
Hi, Planning Commissioners. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay and see my screen. This is text amendment TACPA 2101. I'm Jennifer Malone. This is a privately initiated amendment, and the proposed policy will allow a proportionate weight of density and intensity if the subject site is within 2 future land use designations. This will be accomplished through the approval of a planned development or a planned development alternative zoning. The planned development and planned development alternative zonings are site plan controlled, I should mention. This mechanism is already allowed in the comprehensive plan, but it is limited to urban villages. The proposed LU policy 1.1.2 would expand this mechanism and allow it within the Central Tampa Planning District. So the urban villages were established in 1998 with that iteration of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. In 2009, this policy was put into place to establish a blend provision to integrate a complete mix of uses. So this is something that's been in the plan for a little bit with the policy direction. All 9 of the urban villages are already located in the Central Tampa Planning District, and these comprise approximately 53% of that district. So it's already allowed within about 53% of the district, and this would just expand it to include the rest of the Central Tampa Planning District. Planning Commission staff did find it consistent with several comprehensive plan policies. This will promote the compact city form strategy, providing greater density and intensity near the urban villages. This will also allow for greater flexibility in the development process and will streamline the development of the city form, which is encouraged by the comprehensive plan. And so that we did find it consistent. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. All right. Did we have anyone sign up for comments on this one?
This is Tyler Hudson. I'm actually the applicant.
The applicant.
Oh, the applicant has a presentation. I'm sorry, Mr. Hudson. Please go ahead.
Great, thanks. I'll be very brief. Good evening, Commissioners. Tyler Hudson, 400 North Ashley Drive. I'm going to share my screen quickly. So staff's always a tough act to follow, and I'll be brief given out of respect to the fellow travelers on the agenda this evening. This amendment was initiated to remedy what is perhaps a somewhat rare but really inconvenient and costly shortcoming in the comp plan by limiting this blending ability only to urban villages. And so I want to show an example of how this can be an issue. As you all know, certainly through plan developments and plan development alternatives, you'll have multiple parcels that will be rezoned into a single site plan controlled zoning district. And while in most circumstances, those PDs encompass properties that are all in the same future land use category, it can happen that you'll have assemblages that actually straddle multiple categories. And the effect of that is fairly simple, and I'll get to that on the next slide. Here are a couple examples of parcels where you'll develop an assemblage that just doesn't quite work from uniting all of those parcels under a certain future land use district. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the two different or three different or hopefully not more than that different future land use categories are necessarily inappropriate, but really that they don't work together. And here's why. If you have, as an example, two adjacent parcels, let's say one is CMU 35 in the city of Tampa, the other is SMU 6, as I hope you can see on the right there, you have a situation where parcel 1 and parcel 2 are under the same site plan controlled zoning district, but the parcel on the west is twice as dense as the parcel on the east because the future land use density and intensity rights of that parcel cannot go beyond its boundaries except in an urban village. So what we're trying to do is create a situation where in the Central Tampa Planning District, not citywide, but in the Central Tampa Planning District where, in my experience, these different FLU assemblages are most likely to occur. What we're trying to do is create a situation where you could blend that 1.5 total FAR evenly across the two parcels to create a more compact city form promoting development. We think this works well in the urban villages, but I think this should be expanded to the Central Tampa Planning District. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions and really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. All right. Did we have anyone sign up for public comment? No public comment on this one. Then I will turn it over to the planning commissioners for any questions or comments you might have on this item, 2101. Commissioner Dickerson, yes, I see your hands up.
Thank you. I really don't have a fundamental issue with this. I think overall that plan makes sense. I think as a reviewing agency, though, I will ask, future applicants and the Planning Commission to calculate the maximum for us so that we're able to do a review at the comp plan stage. But I think overall it makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there any more comments on this one? Not seeing any more hands raised or any more lights in the room. We'll go on ahead and close public comment and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion that we find TACPA 2101 consistent with the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward on this recommendation to Tampa City Council.
Commissioner Crest, second.
All right, I have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Powell, a second by Commissioner Crest. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Handy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you. All right, on to our next item. 2B is TACPA 2102, future land use map amendment, and the presenter is David Hay.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. David Hay with your Planning Commission staff. The next item for your review is TACPA 21-02. It's located south of the East Henry Avenue right-of-way and east of North 47th Street. Here we have a general location map. It is located within the University Planning District. It is also located within the Northeast Community Live Oak Square neighborhood. It's on the city's eastern boundary with unincorporated county. Here we have an aerial of the subject site. You can see it's outlined in red here. We'll kind of go we'll go clockwise around the site. To the east of the site, you'll see some heavy commercial uses. Those are located on the west side of North 50th Street. On the east side of North 50th Street, it goes into light industrial uses. To the south, you have East Hillsborough Avenue, and you have two streets on the south side that intersect the southern property boundary. North 48th Street dead ends into the southern property boundary, and Shipman Court comes around and goes out to North 47th Street on the southern property boundary. There are commercial uses along East Hillsborough Avenue, heavy commercial uses, and then there's some single-family detached located to the south. On North 47th Street, we continue that move up actually into unincorporated Hillsborough County. That's located to the north of the dashed line. And from the north, North 48th Street goes south and dead ends into the northern property boundary of the subject site. Within unincorporated Hillsborough County, it's predominantly single-family detached. A little background regarding this. It is publicly initiated by the city of Tampa. It is small scale. It's approximately 7.42 acres in size. Currently, the site has a future land use category of residential 10. And at this point, I want to take a moment to highlight a change to the request. If you all remember the briefing from last month regarding this amendment, the city was originally requesting the community mixed use 35 future land use category. After discussions with neighborhood stakeholders and planning commission staff, the city of Tampa amended their requested land use down to the residential 35 future land use category. And that is what now the city is seeking, the residential 35. Do a little tour around the subject site. Here we're looking north of 8th Street and subject side of the road, the wooded area.
Mr. Hay, we are losing you a little bit. Mr. Hay, if you can hear me.
The subject trees.
Mr. Hay, if you can hear me, if you could turn off your camera, that should fix some of the lag issue.
Yes.
If you could turn off your camera, that should fix some of the issue.
Okay. All right.
I believe that may have
Does
fixed
it
it.
seem like it's working now? Okay, good.
I believe so.
Sorry about that. Here we're looking north. Thanks. Here we're looking north up Ship Court, the subject site. This street goes north and then veers to the west. This is the subject site, the wooded area. This is the subject site. Here we're looking east along Shipman Court from North 47th Street. The subject site is located on the left of the photo, so this whole area here is the subject site. Here we're looking north up North 47th Street. The subject site is located in the center right of the photo, so this is the subject site right here. This is Shipman Court going off to the east, and then this is North 47th Street heading north. Here are some of the single-family detached residential located to the west of the subject site along North 47th Street. The subject site is behind the photographer. Here's single-family detached residential located to the north of the subject site along North 47th Street. The subject site actually wraps around this property. It's to the south and to the east. All these woods in the back are the subject site. Now we move into unincorporated Hillsborough County. We're looking south down North 48th Street. This, again, from unincorporated Hillsborough County. The subject site, this road dead ends into the subject site, and the wooded area in the distance is the site that we're looking at tonight. And then this is single-family detached immediately adjacent to the subject site on the north side of along North 48th Street. So this is the subject site right here to the south of this property. Here we have the adopted future land use map. You could see the subject site and properties within the city of Tampa to the north, west, and south are all that residential 10 future land use category, including the subject site. Immediately to the east, we have the red, which represents the community commercial 35, heavy commercial uses in here, but these are all oriented toward North 50th Street. That heavy commercial pattern also continues down onto Hillsborough Avenue, which is to the south. You can kind of make out the light industrial, the gray that's located on the east side of North 50th Street. That's this street right here. And then in unincorporated Hillsborough County to the north, we have the residential 6, which is represented by the yellow. If this amendment is approved, the map would change to the residential 35 future land use category. The potential impacts currently under the residential 10, the site can be considered for a maximum of 72 dwelling units or 110,380 square feet. That would increase under the residential 35. That would go up to a maximum of 161 dwelling units or a maximum of 189,224 square feet. The proposed amendment would allow for additional density and intensity and would introduce the possibility of the RM12, RM16, RM18, and RM24 zoning districts. I should also note that both categories would require commercial uses to meet commercial locational criteria, though the criteria under residential 35 does allow greater flexibility. Planning Commission staff did send this out to reviewing agencies. There were no concerns raised by any of the agencies. Your staff has reviewed the comprehensive plan and found that the proposed map amendment request for the residential 35 future land use category would be consistent with the adopted policy guidance within the comprehensive plan. Your Planning Commission staff found 4 main areas of consistency. The subject site falls within the University Planning District. The comprehensive plan recognizes the University District as the primary research, medical, and education employment center for the city of Tampa. Additional housing, especially in proximity to transit and commercial services, further a number of policies specific to the University Planning District. The comprehensive plan also promotes compatible development with existing neighborhoods. The residential 35 future land use category removes any potential for commercial general uses that could have been introduced under the original community mixed use 35 category. Also, any non-residential uses must still meet commercial locational criteria. The proposed residential 35 future land use category provides for an appropriate transition of density and intensity from the community commercial 35 to the east and the single-family detached uses found along this segment of North 47th Street. Third, the city's overall growth management strategy is to promote residential infill in appropriate areas, especially areas that have access to transit and employment opportunities. The plan also seeks to target areas that are well served by infrastructure or that have opportunities for additional expansion of existing utilities at minimal cost. Due to presence of employment and transit opportunities and the overall lotting pattern, additional infill may be appropriate in this general area if development can also be sensitive to existing single-family detached uses. Planning Commission staff did find the introduction of the residential 35, future land use category at this location would further a number of residential infill policies. Finally, the city's plan promotes density increases that encourage the use of transit. Several studies, including a 2009 study conducted by the Center for Transit-Oriented Development, found that doubling residential density increases transit boardings between 15 and 59%, depending on proximity and frequency of service. East Hillsborough Avenue is served by Hart's Route 34, which connects the site to the Net Park and Northwest Transfer Center. Additional density within 800 feet of a transit stop furthers a land use policy 9.8.4. So based on that, your Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. I believe Abby Feely with the City of Tampa is available and has a presentation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hay.
Thank you.
And yes, Ms. Feely, please go ahead if you would.
Thank you. Abby Feely, Director of Development and Growth Management for the City of Tampa. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I do want to present to you this afternoon a short presentation on the map amendment that is before you. I think David did a great job describing where the property is located. Does encompass 2 parcels. We have it as a total of 7.23 acres. Just a little background, this property was purchased with community development block grant funds and in 2019, and it is part of the city's action plan associated with those funds for this property to be programmed for housing. Just to go back a little bit over the land use map. I do have the land use map here. I think the one that David presented to you was really narrow in giving you the context of the full area, which made it look like there may not be any R35 within this area. There is R35, the old Kenneth Court, which is now the Silver Lake Apartments, is a R35 just to the west. There's also R20. There's also R35 on the south side of Hillsborough Avenue and R20 as well. So this would not be the first instance where R35 is being placed next to the CC35. The other context I did want to show you is that, as David mentioned, this is all light industrial on the east side of 50th Street, which is where the Tampa Hillsborough County line is. Then you transition into that CC35 and then you come into that R10. That same situation occurs on the south side where you have LI south of the CC 35 along Hillsborough, and then the R35 and R20 as well. I did want to take one more zoom out to show you that just a few blocks away along 40th, you actually have a CMU 35 that is adjacent to the R10. And so you have a number of different areas along from 40th to the end of the city limits that deals with a mixture of uses. Just to give you some additional context to the property, this is the subject. These top 3 pictures are the subject property. As you can tell from the pictures I'm demonstrating here, as well as the ones that David has shown you this evening, there are substantial trees on the property. The property is over an acre. We will be required to retain those trees, 50% of them during development. So that will be also a driving factor in how we lay out this property for development when the time is appropriate. David mentioned across the street, that's at the bottom left, and then Shipman Court does come and wrap around, and then there's single family to the south as well. To give you a context of some of the mix of uses that is out there, there's actually 2 places of religious assembly from Hillsborough up to the, sorry, I forgot the name of that street. Let me just, up to Henry, which is the top. So in this segment here, from Hillsborough to Henry, we have a shopping center, we have a large vacant piece, then there is a large place of religious assembly, then you have 3 homes, and then a few homes that face Henry. Then at the other corner next to us, there is another large place of religious assembly. So there's 2 churches that are on this street along this segment as well. So there are some non-residential uses that exist along this corridor. David mentioned transit. Here is the Hart Transit map for this area. Our parcel would be roughly above the U in Hillsborough. So there are several transit routes that currently serve, and I gave you a short estimate. This is 800 feet. This property is 800 feet from this stop, the nearest stop on Hillsborough. It's 3/4 of a mile to the 56th Street, which is served by 4 different routes, and then a half a mile to the west to the 40th Street, which is served by 1 route, the number 5. So you'll see that although a 1/4 mile is typically good planning philosophy for access, this has a number of different service routes that provide transit service to this property. Several policies, and I think that staff went over those for you this evening. One that we didn't talk about that I think is interesting is that the low, medium density multifamily areas and providing those transitions and creating those transitions to provide from commercial areas into residential areas. And I tried to demonstrate those to you by showing you that existing development pattern that is out there. This parcel is on the periphery of this neighborhood. I'm going to just close out of that a second. And I had one other. Let me just, oops, sorry, I lost you. Try this if I stop sharing. And then I did want to take just one moment because I think it's interesting when we look at things on maps and then we really look at them and how they are developed. So our property is here with the large swath of trees, that church property to the north there, the other church property, and then the commercial, which David mentioned. Immediately abutting the properties on 47th and 48th that run along 50th are really some very intensive types of commercial uses, a lot of some warehousing, trucking, auto body repair, several auto body repairs, several used car dealerships along Hillsborough. So we're really looking at the opportunity to develop this property as intended by purchase and introduce a new housing inventory in this area. One of the interesting discoveries we have found through the mayor's initiative to provide and improve and increase the supply of affordable housing and housing affordability throughout the city is that in this area of the city, there is, I wouldn't say a complete desert, but there's definitely a shortage of housing alternatives to single family detached residential. So we are looking at other opportunities in planning this parcel, perhaps as single family attached, but also perhaps as multifamily. The R35 will give us that allowance to plan this property appropriately in the context of the tree preservation, the comprehensive plan, the zoning code, and really overall the sustainability of the parcel in contributing to the fabric of this community. We would respectfully request your approval this afternoon.
All right, thank you.
Commissioners, this is David Hay again with your staff. Can I just make one comment?
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I just wanted to make sure that we have received about just from about 4 o'clock on to about 5, we received 3 comments from neighbors. We shared those with the city, and hopefully you also received copies for your review. But I just wanted to put on the record that we did receive citizen comments.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, did we have anyone sign up to make public comments on this item?
No, we did not.
Okay, all right, then it is on to the commissioners for any comments or questions you may have on this one, TACPA 2102. I see a hand up from Commissioner Dickerson. Nope, it's gone. Commissioner Handy, please, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have some questions. I did see the residents' comments, which I think are quite valid, considering this is a publicly city-owned parcel. I could understand where they would be more interested in a community benefit type use for what little is left of our publicly owned parcels in these neighborhoods. I also have a little bit of concern about it being compatible with the neighborhood. I understand the need for multi-use, multi-density and affordable housing. However, some of the land use and infrastructure policies that I'm seeing, it does not quite appear compatible with. The land use element 1.2.10 on the city plan specifically calls for ensuring redevelopment that enhances natural and historic features. There's an infrastructure policy 1.1.16 that calls for promoting development within environmentally appropriate areas, such as urban infill, brownfields, and so forth. It just seems to me like there could be, there's a lost opportunity here for a rare forested undeveloped parcel that could make this neighborhood a little bit more compatible with and consistent with some of these comp plan elements, like it stating things like nice places to live and play, a desirable place to live, land use, the policy 9.5.1 calls specifically for maintaining open spaces for residents. I do have concerns, and I've heard it in the comments from this community and others, that affordable housing often comes at a loss of desirable community features such as parks, open spaces. Some of the residents suggested libraries, something like that would benefit the community. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Handy. Are there any more comments from the commissioners? I'm not seeing. Oh, yes, Commissioner Rodriguez, please.
Thank you, Chair. As your representative on the city's Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, I can tell you we've been looking at this parcel and its potential uses for affordable housing for quite some time. Once again, the city used CDBG funds to purchase this specifically for housing. It is, and David Hay did an excellent job with his staff report. And I also think that having Ms. Feely as a department director come and make the presentation on behalf of the city really speaks to the importance to the city for having this project get approved. But it seems to meet all the criteria. It's excellently positioned as a transition from that very high intensity commercial to the east, where the jobs are. You've got commercial to the south at Hillsborough, and you've got transit connections there. You've got commercial for the living amenities to purchase your products. I mean, this is an excellent affordable housing location, and I would certainly encourage the voting board members here on the commission to seriously consider this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Yes, Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would like to comment on Commissioner Rodriguez's comments there, and I agree. I'm on the other Affordable Housing Board, and seeing a project like this is really encouraging. I wish that we had the capabilities right now within our own board to do these things, and or maybe the willpower and capability to do that. And I did read the citizen comments, and I always value those. I don't know if this would be a really great spot for a library, given that how far back it sits from the road, and it almost would be more of a destination location to me than anything, since you don't really get in the drive-by in such a heavy industrial area there. I do hear Commissioner Handy though, and the desire to preserve community space, for open space and parks, and I would be really surprised if that sort of element was not already thought of, whenever City of Tampa purchased this. So I imagine that they are going to have, those elements, in there that will be available. So it has my support.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Handy, I see your hand up. Did you want to speak again? Did you have some more comments?
No, sorry about that. I'll take it down.
Oh, okay, no problem. Commissioner Linkus, yes, please go ahead.
I really want to echo a lot of the comments that Commissioner Powell made, and I think that this is a terrific project to provide affordable housing. But in looking at the comments from the community, there is a tremendous interest in community resources here, and they mentioned things like daycare and senior centers. And I do know that City of Tampa has incorporated some of those kinds of facilities in their other housing projects. So I think there's a real opportunity here, and I do agree that's probably something that has been looked at, but that seems to be what the residents in that area are interested in.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Cardenas.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with that area too, and it's something that would be needed in that area. It's almost kind of forgotten area. It's pretty quiet over there, and it'd be nice if they did get some additional stuff. Community libraries, some of the things that they mentioned.
Thank you. All right. Are there any more comments? Oh, yep.
I just wanted to mention that one thing that was in David's staff report was that should this amendment be approved by City Council, we certainly recognize the land use pattern. As Abby zoomed out, you could see it's kind of spotty there and maybe not the most cohesive pattern along this corridor. So one of the things that Mr. Hayes' staff report referenced was that we would be interested in the future, as we're updating the plans for that area, to do some additional outreach with those property owners, see if we can't clean up the future land use map And perhaps that would also help enable some of these other uses that they're seeking in the area to come into that, because they might not be allowed by the current land use category.
All right, thank you. Is there any more discussion or comments from the commissioners? Mr. Goers, you have your hand raised on the line. Is this in reference to 2102?
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Randy Goers, Director of City Planning. Just to respond to a couple of comments. We did meet with the community, and as you have read, there were several suggestions by the community of amenities or conditions in their neighborhood they'd like to improve. Those would be many of those things, I should say some of those things, the library and some of the other larger facilities may not be accommodated in the future. But as part of our effort to build quality communities, we'll continue to work with the community to bring amenities into the community as part of as the redevelopment proceeds. In fact, our mobility department recently committed to adding a project to provide sidewalks on both sides of 47th Street from Henry to Hillsborough Avenue. They put that project on the sidewalk list. It's not funded yet, but as soon as the project that Ms. Feely's sponsoring is approved, then we'll move that project into a funding. So we are starting to respond to the community's desires to improve their neighborhood by bringing forward some of the other capital improvements that make for a quality community.
Thank you for
May I
that.
also, I don't know how to raise my hand, but I'd like to respond to a couple of comments as well.
All right, I'll let it go, Ms. Feely. You can go ahead.
Just to respond, the property, you know, currently is not part of our open space inventory or park inventory. It was purchased, and the funds it was purchased with do have very strict requirements. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the regulations that run with the community development block grant funds. So it was purchased for close to $500,000 with those funds, and we do have timetables and deliverables and expenditures that must be met in relationship to that. I think there was some confusion when the neighborhood meeting was conducted as envisioning what could go on this property. Many of those items are not eligible under the CDBG. So I don't want to give the impression that there is something that could be constructed there based on the purchase of the property. They could not. So we may be able to look at incorporating, you know, community room space or other things. Our next step, if this gets approval this evening, is to start to plan now. Since right now that R10 really leaves it at single family detached, we cannot start to envision what could go on the property at varying densities or varying housing types until we can get out of that R10 category and really lift the property to where we need it to be. So that's our first step here tonight. I think that Randy and the planning department at the city are conducting an update to the plan. I think that this exercise has brought to light many of the needs of this area. And I think that through that process, there will be opportunities for us to look at that as a city in order to address some of those needs and bring much of the fabric of this area and this neighborhood kind of back to life. This is kind of on that outer cusp and really is interesting when you ride around there, how it relates to what's along 50th, how it relates to what's along Hillsborough. And I think there are opportunities for us, but I want to make sure I'm on the record and being clear as to the funds it was purchased with and what our opportunities are for this specific property.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Feely, for that information.
Thank you very much.
All right. Seeing no further lights on in here and no further hands raised from commissioners on the WebEx, I will go on ahead and close the public comment section and open it up to commissioners for motions on this item. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would make a motion of consistency with regard to TACPA 2102 finding it consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Second. I got a motion of consistency from Commissioner Bernstein, and I'm going to give that one to Commissioner Linkus because I was looking at her when her light came on for the second to that consistency finding. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none online, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Cardenas,
Yes.
Dix,
Yes.
Dowdy,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Crest,
Yes.
Linkus,
Yes.
Marino,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you very much. All right, on to our next item, item 2C, TACPA 21-03, Future Land Use Map Amendment, and the presenter is again Jennifer Malone.
Hi, Commissioners. Jennifer Malone for the record. This is Map Amendment 2103 located at 809 West Linebaugh Avenue. This is located in the University Planning District within the East Forest Hills neighborhood. This is the subject site on West Linebaugh Avenue. In the surrounding area to the north, we have the Danny Del Rio Pool, Adams Middle School, and Forest Hills Elementary. To the east is a vacant lot, and this is a place of religious assembly. To the south, we have single-family detached. To the south, there's also a multifamily development and another place of religious assembly along West Linebaugh. This is privately initiated. It's about 0.5 acres from residential 10, and the request is from residential 10 and residential 20 to residential 20. I have some subject site pictures for you. This is facing west along West Linebaugh Avenue, kind of looking into the subject site. This is that place of religious assembly next to the subject site, the Forest Hills Presbyterian Church along West Linebaugh Avenue. This is a picture of the subject site along West Linebaugh Avenue. It's heavily wooded. This is the multifamily in the area. It's Florida Gulf Coast Apartments. It's located to the south of the site. These are the single-family homes along West Linebaugh Avenue. And this is a view of West Linebaugh Avenue facing east. And these are the single-family homes to the north of the subject site. And further through this street, you would see the schools kind of in the background. So the subject site is residential 10, and there's a small portion of residential 20 on the site. In the surrounding area, we have the residential 10 present to the north, east, and south. The residential 20 is present as well to the southwest. This is the residential 20 piece that already has that multifamily on it in the area along West Linebaugh Avenue. And the request would be to change this to residential 20. This would increase the potential from about 5 dwelling units to 10 dwelling units. It would increase the potential of non-residential uses from about 7,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet of non-residential. However, the locational criteria will still be a consideration in the review for both land use categories. So there's still a protection for the residential in the surrounding area. The Planning Commission staff did find this consistent with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan recognizes the need to provide housing for Tampa's growing population and is supportive of additional residential infill development, especially within areas within proximity to employment, retail services, and transit, as well as on vacant or underutilized land. So the subject site is currently vacant, and it's within proximity to the University of South Florida Business Center, which is one of the primary urban employment centers in the city. The request would further the development, and I should also mention that the subject site, there's several transit stops located along East Linebaugh Avenue as well. 2 are located within 300 feet of the subject site. So it would further the policy direction of the comprehensive plan, while also providing a sensitive single-family neighborhood to the north. Lastly, the Plan encourages designated multifamily areas where multifamily is already present. The future land use pattern transitions to residential 20 directly west and southwest of the site and continues along West Linebaugh Avenue for approximately 0.45 miles. Also, as I stated before, a multifamily residential development is already present approximately 400 feet to the southwest of the subject site. So we found that the proposed residential 20 would not be out of character within this area, and it was supported by these comprehensive plan policies. And I am available for any questions, but we did find this consistent, and I believe the applicant is on the line as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Did the applicant have a presentation or just holding for questions?
Just holding for questions.
Okay.
Thank you for your time, Commissioners.
Thank you. Did we have anyone sign up for this one? Nope.
We did not.
Okay. Are there any comments or discussion or questions from the commissioners on this item? All right, not seeing any. I will go on ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to the commissioners for motions. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
This time I would move that we find TACPA 21-03 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
We got a motion by Commissioner Bernstein for consistency. Is that a motion, Commissioner Crest? Sure.
Second.
Who was that? Was that you? Okay. I can't tell with the mask. That's okay. All right. That's a motion of consistency by Commissioner Bernstein and a second by Commissioner Crest. Is there any more discussion among the commissioners? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 10-0.
Thank you. All right. On to our next item, 2D, TACPA 2104. It's another text amendment, and this one will be presented by Mr. David Hay.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. David Hay again with your staff. The next is for your review is Comprehensive Plan Text Amendment 21-04. This is in regards to the neighborhood mixed use future land use categories. A little background about the request. This is a city initiated amendment that seeks to make changes to the neighborhood mixed use 16, the neighborhood mixed use 24, and the neighborhood mixed use 35 future land use categories. The amendment would remove reference to vertical mixed use, thus allowing all development to utilize the maximum floor area ratio, of 1.5. Currently, only residential development or vertical mixed use development can utilize that 1.5 floor area ratio. Non-residential development is capped at a 1.0 FAR. The city is also proposing changes to the future land use descriptions by removing references to neighborhood serving commercial uses, thus allowing additional flexibility regarding the inclusion of uses deemed commercial general in the zoning matrix. Currently, there are in the NMU zoning districts, there are some commercial general uses that are already included. A little background about the three future land use categories. These three categories came out of the Central City Plan and more specifically the West Riverfront Plan. These categories were designed to implement the vision of those plans. Currently, only the NMU 35 has actually been placed on any land. The main area is found on the former site of North Boulevard Homes, south and west of the Hillsborough River, and north of Interstate 275. There's also a smaller area designated as part of TACPA 16-03B. It can be found on the south side of West Cypress Street, about 3 blocks west of North Boulevard in the West Riverfront neighborhood. The Planning Commission staff has reviewed the comprehensive plan and found that the proposed language to amend the neighborhood mixed-use district is consistent with the adopted policy guidance within the comprehensive plan. Your Planning Commission staff found 2 main areas of consistency. Policy direction does promote the mixture of uses in appropriate areas in the city. Though the city is removing reference to vertical mixed use, the overall neighborhood mixed use categories continue and even promote a mixture of uses both vertically and horizontally. Though Planning Commission staff shares concerns about the loss of the incentive for vertical mixed use, the Planning Commission staff understands that the neighborhood mixed use categories will still provide opportunities for residential and non-residential uses to coexist in proximity to each other. As the update to the city's comprehensive plan progresses, both the City of Tampa staff and the staff of the Planning Commission will continue to look at ways to further incentivize vertical mixed use, especially along the city's transit emphasis corridors. Overall, the proposed changes to the neighborhood mixed use categories will further the adopted policy language regarding the development of mixed use districts. Also, Land Use Policy 3.5.1 specifically identifies this area west of the Hillsborough River as an area appropriate for the development of medical and educational uses. These uses can leverage their proximity to the University of Tampa and Tampa General Hospital and their new proposed satellite campus on Kennedy Boulevard. By allowing non-residential uses to utilize the category's maximum floor area ratio of a 1.5, the city is promoting additional office, education, and commercial uses to develop in this area. Based on those policies, your Planning Commission staff does recommend to you this evening that the proposed text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. I believe Randy Gores with the city may have a presentation as well. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Gores, please go ahead.
Yes, I want to give you just a quick summary, a little historical perspective to put into context why we're asking for this proposed change. The origin of the NMU plan category goes back to 2015, as David mentioned. At that time, the city and the Tampa Housing Authority were applying for a choice neighborhood grant. This was a grant, a $35 million grant to jumpstart the redevelopment of the West River area. Our partners were the school district as well as Hillsborough County to develop this area. The first choice neighborhood grant, you can see the master plan on the left for 2015. A prerequisite for applying for the grant was that the master plan had to be consistent with the land use plan and the zoning regulations. So we developed the NMU plan category and the zoning based off of the 2015 plan as an integrated community. We did not receive the grant in 2015. We applied again in 2016. By then, the plan evolved somewhat. It's still a mixed income, mixed use community, but it was in 2016. It was perceived to be a little bit, I would say, more dense than what the original plan was, but still fit into the overall land use and zoning at that time. The change that occurred is really something that was unintended, and that is we didn't receive the grant. If we had received the grant, the housing authority, the city, the school district and the county would have entered into a master development agreement in which we would have been able to put together an area-wide PD or some mechanism to ensure that the plan was moving forward the way it was intended. Because we didn't receive the grant, the Housing Authority opted to begin developing their parcels based on other funding mechanisms. And you can see the plan as it evolves today, still very much the components are still in the same plan. What has been added was a grocery store on the far right side of the development plan. The thing that happened that was not intended or was unintended, we didn't really quite understand it, but now we do. The Housing Authority, it's very difficult to develop the types of projects that they are developing as a master plan and a PD when they're looking for funding on their own. They're usually, now they have to find funding for each project. And in the beginning, they had Bank of America with the first two projects. And then within several months later, Related came on to become their master developer. That required or ended up where projects were now becoming into the city to be reviewed block by block. And these projects met all the requirements of the land use and zoning until we got near the end when they began to look at the commercial area of the project. Overall, if they had come in as a PD for the entire project, everything would have met the requirements of the density and intensity. But when we got into the end, what it turned out was that the grocery store on its own would not be able to meet the intensity requirements. So we met with your staff, we met with the Housing Authority, the Related Group, and we felt that the best way to preserve the plan was to make a recommended change to the land use category. We envision a similar challenge with the city's property. I've reviewed some of the proposals for that property and also see that in order to achieve the type of mixed use environment that we have up here, that we may need more flexibility than what the plan category initially envisioned. So that's the basis for the change today. It allows us to continue to implement the mixed use community as it was originally envisioned with the change of the adding of a grocery store, and it allows us to keep that mixed use community intact. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Goers. All right. Are there, did you have something to say, Ms.?
I was going to say that we had a public comment.
Oh, yeah, good, because I was going to skip past that. I totally forgot. Thank you.
Sure thing. Jacob Kramer, I believe, signed up to speak in public comment.
Okay. Please go ahead, Mr. Kramer.
Hi, Commissioners. Thank you for your time tonight. Randy did a great job. I represent Related Urban, which is the master developer working in concert with the Tampa Housing Authority on this property, specifically the NMU 35 property in West River. And as Randy indicated, what we sort of learned through the planning process with a district this large is that sometimes the plan doesn't always meet what the community wants. And what we heard from the community loud and clear was that they would like to see a full-size grocery store in the West River district. It's a food desert, and it was always intended there would be a grocery store, but what we have here is the opportunity to bring in a full-size, full-service grocery store into this district. And so the unintended consequence of the way the language is crafted now is that we would not be able to do that as things stand today. So we really appreciate staff, both Planning Commission and city staff, recognizing that and trying to work with us to get this done, because this is a really good opportunity for the city to create a true mixed use, mixed income community right across the river from downtown. So with that, I would just ask for your recommendation of approval tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kramer. All right. Was that the only one you said? Just double checking. All right. And with that, are there any comments from the applicant in rebuttal? Would you like 3 minutes to make a statement, Mr. Goers?
No,
I think we heard.
no, thank
Did we
you.
hear commissioners' discussion yet? I didn't think we did.
No, we haven't.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rebuttal comes before the planning commissioner discussion.
Okay.
The applicant in the order.
Thank you, Mr. Goers. All right, opening it up to commissioners now. If anyone has any questions or comments on this item, I am not seeing anyone in the room. Let me check online. Not seeing any hands raised online. Then I will go ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to commissioners for a motion on this item. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find TACPA 21-04 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
All right, that's a motion of consistency by Commissioner Bernstein, a second by Commissioner Doughty. Is there any more discussion on this item from the commissioners? Commissioner Dix, yes.
No, I'm sorry, sir. I was just getting ready to vote.
Oh, okay, I like seeing your face anyway. That's good. All right. All right, seeing no more discussion from the commissioners, I'll go ahead and ask the clerk to make a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Doughty?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell? Powell? Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item up will be 2E, and that's TACPA 2105, multiple parcels, generally north of Adamo Drive, Parkway. I'm not sure. Oh, it's a map amendment, I see. And the presenter is Danny Collins.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Danny Collins with the Hillsborough County Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 2105. The subject site is located in the central Tampa planning district. It's within the historic Ybor neighborhood. It's also within the Ybor City Urban Village, and it's also within the historic local district. It is shown here on the locational map. Here is an aerial map of the subject sites and the surrounding properties. The request consists of 6 folio numbers. One is south of Adamo Drive, and the remaining 5 are north of Adamo Drive, just on the west side of North 15th Street. Here is an image looking west along East 2nd Avenue. The subject site is out of frame to the right. This is standing at the intersection of East 2nd Avenue and North 15th Street and looking south along North 15th Street. This is standing at the intersection of East 2nd Avenue and North 15th Street and looking east. The subject site would be behind us. This is looking north along North 15th Street from East 2nd Avenue. The subject sites are on the left. They run along North 15th Street on the left-hand side. This is looking west at one of the plan amendment sites from North 15th Street. This is moving north along North 15th Street. This is the northernmost parcel included within the request. Quick background of the request. This is a privately initiated amendment. It's small scale in size. The total acreage of the request is 3.6 acres. The request is to change the future land use designation from a light industrial and heavy industrial to regional mixed use 100 and community mixed use 35. Here's the adopted future land use map. You'll see the southernmost parcel is currently under the heavy industrial future land use designation. There is RMU 100 directly to the north and east of this folio, and then light industrial to the west. There is some RMU 100, which this is Bell Channel side directly to the south. On the north side of Adamo Drive, the remaining 5 parcels are currently under the light industrial designation. Here is the proposed future land use map. The southernmost parcels, just south of East 2nd Avenue, are being requested to change to the RMU 100 designation. And then the remaining 2 folios are being requested to go to the CMU 35 designation. I do want to note that there were several plan amendments over the past 15 years within the surrounding area that went from industrial categories to the RMU 100 and the CMU 35 designations. This is a slide showing the potential impacts of the proposed request. Currently under the industrial categories, residential development cannot be considered. Under the industrial categories, the sites can be considered for a total of 235,000 square feet of non-residential development. As proposed under the CMU 35 and RMU 100 designations, the sites can be considered for a total of 324 dwelling units, or just over 500,000 square feet of non-residential development. So this request would allow for higher residential density and greater commercial intensity on the sites, and it would also remove the potential of industrial uses from those industrial categories on the sites. We sent this request out for agency review and received a comment from the school board identifying Blake High School as a school that currently does not have adequate capacity for the request. I do want to note this is based off an analysis for adequate facilities only and is not a determination of school concurrency. School concurrency review will be issued prior to preliminary plat or site plan approval. The Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found it consistent with the city design and city planning strategies, specifically in promoting a range of uses in proximity to one another. The request was consistent with a number of the mixed-use corridor policies and promoting a mixture of uses in a mixed-use development pattern. The request was also consistent with the multifamily development section of the plan, as well as the housing policies, and ensuring that there is an adequate supply of housing to support Tampa's growing population. The request was also consistent with land use policy 15.23 under the commercial areas section of the plan. Based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation. My colleague Tyler Hudson is on the line with the presentation.
Hey, thanks, Danny. Good evening, Commissioners. Again, Tyler Hudson, 400 North Ashley Drive. I'll share my screen real quick. So as Danny noted, these are the subject parcels for this application. You can see along the southern side, you've got the expressway fronting Adamo. I think it's helpful to get a little bit more zoomed out context here. These parcels are all really on the edge of downtown, of the central business district. They're kind of a little bit interstitial parcels because they kind of fill some gaps between the Channel District, Ybor, the Central Park, CRA. They're kind of what I think of as sandwich parcels that are sandwiched between different future land uses that are different as a result of their neighboring parcels changing over time, as Danny alluded to. The comprehensive plan, your comprehensive plan actually anticipates something exactly like this by reference to the CBD periphery. The CBD periphery is really a bonus mechanism for intensity or density in a designated area, which is shown on the yellow line on the right. The parcels that are to the left or to the west are inside the CBD periphery. And in particular, the CBD periphery speaks to residential or mixed-use projects, and those are not possible at all in light of the current industrial future land use classification. This is certainly a part of the city that has changed a lot over the course of this city's entire history. It's changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years. It's probably going to continue to change. And there's a significant amount of city property that remains industrial, but these specific parcels, it is our belief that are not really appropriate for industrial development. I mean, if you go to sort of the core of why zoning exists, right? It's to separate industrial from residential mixed use uses. And here the comprehensive plan specifically anticipates that within this CBD periphery footprint, the parcels are likely to develop, and they're incentivized to develop in a residential mixed use pattern, not for the industrial or light industrial. So this map is really just a rehash of what Danny showed. Danny's map was actually way better. That showed the after picture. It's a little bit patchy, I think, and incomplete in its current form. And again, look at the bottom left. That's a parcel where that's currently being redeveloped, just kind of within the crook of the expressway. And on the right, you see the parcels that are all west of that CBD periphery line. The goal of this amendment, again, is to align the future land use for these subject parcels with that of their neighbors. The line of 15th Street is really where the UMU 60, RMU 100 division seems to begin. We think that's appropriate. Again, for the parcel that's 1 block north of Adamo Drive, we think that CMU 35 is appropriate. We're not proposing to take that any further than its neighbor already is. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Appreciate all of staff's work on this, and ask for support. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. And thank you, Mr. Collins. Anyone sign up for this one?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any lights going on in the room or any hands raised on the WebEx. I'll go ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Bernstein, yes.
This time, Mr. Chair, I would move that we find TACPA 21-05 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Second. Got a motion of consistency by Commissioner Bernstein, a second by Commissioner Dowdy. Is there any more discussion on this item from commissioners? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item, please.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Yes. Hicks?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell? Powell? Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
Thank you. All right, on to our next item, 2F, TACPA 21-06. It's a map amendment for Collins Park, and the presenter is Mr. Collins again.
There we go. This is Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is Tampa Comprehensive Plan Amendments 2106 through 2109. I do want to note before we get started that TACPA 2110 Sierra Park was continued to the next cycle. We will be looking at 4 parks today. We'll be looking at Collins Park in the Hyde Park Urban Village. Then we'll move north to Tampa Crest Park, and then to the Woodlawn Cemetery, and then up northwest to Daniel Del Rio Pool. Quick background of the request. This is a publicly initiated by Tampa City Council. The request are to recognize existing City of Tampa parks. Each park is listed on the City of Tampa's dedicated park list, and all sites would be recognized through the recreational open space future land use designation. The Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found it consistent with policies relating to promoting recreation and open space opportunities within the city. Our first park is TACPA 2106. It's Collins Park. This is in the South Tampa Planning District. It's within the historic Hyde Park neighborhood, and it's also within the Hyde Park Urban Village. Since this is within a historic district, it will go to the ARC prior to proceeding to City Council. Here is an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see it's on the southwest corner of West Deckel Avenue and Southview Avenue. The surrounding development pattern is predominantly residential. It's one block east of South Howard Avenue, which contains predominantly commercial uses. This is an image looking at the subject site from the intersection of West Deckel Avenue and West Southview Avenue. Here is the adopted future land use map. Currently, it's under that residential 10 future land use designation. It has residential 10 to the north and west of the subject site. Residential 35 is to the south and east of the subject site. Here's the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under that recreational open space designation. Currently, the site can be considered for one dwelling unit or just over 1,200 square feet of non-residential development subject to locational criteria. As proposed, it would remove the potential residential and non-residential development from the subject site. Based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. Let me move the next one, or?
Yeah, I think you just better go ahead. Thanks.
Okay. Our next park is TACPA 2107. It's Temple Crest Park. It's in the University Planning District, and it's also within the Temple Crest neighborhood. Here is an aerial map of the subject sites and the surrounding properties. It's generally southwest of East Yukon Street and North 37th Street along the Hillsborough River. This is an image looking south of the subject site from North 37th Street. This is looking west along Riverview Drive. The subject site is on our left-hand side. Here is the adopted future land use map. Currently, the subject site is, majority of the site is under the recreation open space designations, with portions within the residential 10 and residential 20 down to the south designations. This is the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under that recreation open space designation. This would remove the potential residential and non-residential development from the subject site. Based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment TACPA 2107 be found consistent with the City of Tampa Comprehensive Plan. Any questions? Our next park is TACPA 2108. It's Woodlawn Cemetery. It's in the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Tampa Heights neighborhood. It's also within the Tampa Heights Urban Village. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and surrounding properties. The subject site is predominantly surrounded by residential uses. This is looking west of the subject site from North Pola Avenue. This is looking south at the subject site from West Indiana Avenue. Currently, the subject site is under the public, semi-public future land use designation. It's surrounded by residential 10 to the northeast and west of the subject site. Residential 10 is also to the south, and recreation open spaces to the south as well. Here's the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under that recreation open space designation. Currently under the public, semi-public future land use designation, the density and intensity is determined by the surrounding development pattern, so it cannot be determined at this time. But this would remove any potential of residential or non-residential development from the subject site. Based on those considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed map amendment TACPA 2108 be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. Our last park is TACPA 2109. It's Daniel Del Rio Pool. It's within the University Planning District, and more specifically, it's in the East Forest Hills neighborhood. Here's an aerial map of the subject site and the surrounding properties. You'll see it's just north of the intersection of West Linebaugh Avenue and North Boulevard. Adams Middle School is in Forest Hills Elementary, or directly to the north of the subject site. You'll see there's predominantly residential uses to the west. This is an image looking at the subject site from North Boulevard to the entrance to the pool. This is looking at Adams Middle School. Adams Middle School is located directly north of the subject site. This is the adoptive future land use map. Currently, subject site is under that residential 10 future land use designation. Directly to the south is residential 20. And to the north and east and west of the subject site is residential 10. Here's the proposed future land use map showing the subject site under the recreation open space designation. Currently, the subject site can be considered for 12 dwelling units or just over 43,000 square feet of non-residential development, subject to locational criteria. As proposed, it would remove the potential of residential and non-residential development from the subject site. Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and recommends that the proposed map amendment TACPA 2109 be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan. And this concludes the park amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. All right, go back and vote each one of these individually, starting with TACPA 2106. Seeing no further discussion from the commissioners, public comment closed. I will open it up to motions from the commissioners on TACPA 2106, Collins Park. Anyone? Commissioner Bernstein, yes.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I would move that we find proposed map amendment TACPA 21-06 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Thank you. I got a motion of consistency by Commissioner Bernstein, a second by Commissioner Dowdy. Is there any more discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none in the room and no hands online, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell? Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
Thank you. All right, moving on to TACPA 2107, Temple Crest Park. Seeing no further comments from the commissioners, public comment being closed, I will open it up and entertain motions on 2107, Temple Crest Park. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find proposed map amendment TACPA 21-07 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Motion of consistency by Commissioner Bernstein, a second by Commissioner Dowdy. Seeing no further discussion from the commissioners in the room and no hands raised on the WebEx, I will go ahead and ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Dowdy? Dowdy?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell? Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to TACPA 2108, Woodlawn Cemetery. Seeing no further questions from the commissioners, I will close public comment and open it up to motions. Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This time I would move that we find proposed map amendment TACPA 21-08 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Motion of consistency by Commissioner Bernstein, second by Commissioner Doughty. Not seeing any further lights or discussion in the room from the commissioners or hands raised on the WebEx, I will ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on that item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Doughty?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell? Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
Thank you. And last but not least, TACPA 21-09, Daniel Del Rio Pool. Seeing no questions or discussions from the commissioners, I'll close public comment and open it up to entertain motions. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find proposed map amendment number TACPA 21-09 consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Tampa Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
Motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Doughty. Any more discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none in the room or online, I'll ask the clerk to do a roll call vote on that item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Dix?
Yes.
Doughty?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Crest?
Yes.
Linkus?
Yes.
Marino?
Yes.
Powell? Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 9-0.
All right, thank you very much. Just a reminder that TACPA 21-10 got continued, and that is all we have on our agenda, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.